For guys like us in this position, it's very difficult to have any true power over your life because the way the world is designed is that there's the haves and the have nots. The people that have the money, the accumulation of resources, the retention of power, wealth, and influence, and then those that are born into families that are toxic, poverty stricken, and can cause mentally debilitating just events in your life due to your psychological mind makeup. And I think when have guys like us ever felt truly powerful? When have we felt like we had control over our lives and control over destiny? I usually feel like this world seems outside my control, and it's hard to have hope. It's hard to hang on. It's hard to try to focus because every time you try to focus, every time you try to do a good thing for your life, there seems to be something that always messes it up. And when you see people with these quote unquote good lives, there's always something beneath it, right? This guy gets a big house, he has a car, he has all this, but you don't know that he's a Freemason, and he had to do secret rituals or whatever to gain ascension, or this person right here just got a $1 million check, but you don't know that he got paralyzed from a car crash, so he's paralyzed from the waist down, but now he's a millionaire. You see where I'm getting at, where there's always a trade-off to your happiness in this world. You're not allowed to have every single thing that you want in perpetuity with no type of issues. And if you do have that, you're obviously one of Yardaball's favorite, or you're just an NPC or a high league. I truly believe those with a hard life are really the chosen ones and the chosen vessels. And those with the easy life, they're the NPCs and the high leagues because they don't have to go through anything. It's like the world just put them around just as filler. Like when you're playing a video game, when you're playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, when you're playing a video game from Rockstar, there's the main character, the sub main characters, and then you have the NPCs, the stupid cars that crash to you, that crash into you on a mission, or you may crash into by mistake. And they hop out, want to fight, but like stuff like that, like just the NPCs in Grand Theft Auto. And when you realize that, you start to see like, damn, you know, when do we actually like? When do people like us feel power? Do we feel power when we get angry? Do we feel power when we're sad? Like, when do we really feel like we're powerful? And this is why, becoming a villain or a villainess, if you will, is so alluring to people like us, people that are used to having people who have power over us, being able to talk to us anyway, do us any type of way, treat us any type of way, and we just have to take it. But when have we ever felt powerful? It's why, you know, I imagine some breakaway civilization coming to this world and putting people like us in power. We become like world governors or something like that, or just a position with wealth, power, and influence. And I wonder how we would treat it. Would we be just as evil as the system? Well, it wouldn't be surprising since the system taught us how to be wicked and evil. Would we be righteous? What would we be if we had power? How would you be when you have the ability, or when you have the ability to do what you want? The ability to get girls, the ability to command armies and legions, the ability to really hold life into your own hands and try to achieve greatness. Like, how do guys like us gain confidence and self-esteem in a world that's designed to break your confidence and self-esteem, right? It's very difficult because the little things you try to manage to eke out for yourself, it seems to be sabotage. It seems to be part of an evil, wicked, sadistic plot. Sometimes I really feel like this world's against us. I really feel like this life is, it's just created to break us down, and make us go crazy in a way, right? It's a crazy world we live in, honestly, where you can do back-breaking labor, you can put work into something, and you'll still see no results. And they can just start tomorrow, and within a week they'll have results. So we're not playing this game by the same a set of shoes. We're not walking in the same pair of shoes. Like everybody got their own shoes, right? And then your shoes have certain areas and places that other people can't be, or other people don't want to be. So our lives are customized for our pain. So everything that we go through in life, all the things that make you annoyed, all the things that are annoying, it's all customized to your pain. All of it. It's why certain things feel more egregious than it would for somebody else. For somebody else getting kicked out and being homeless, that's the end of their life. They'll never make a video again. They'll disappear. And, you know, for others, they're strong enough to maintain, focus, and be disciplined and still make videos, still upload, and still understand that this is the rigors, that you have to go through, that you must endure. It doesn't mean it's going to be a reward at the end of the tunnel, but it does make you a stronger soul and spirit for whatever that's worth. Like anybody's counting all the pain you've been through and is going to give you a blessing. No, that's not how it works. A good loving God creates a perfect realm, and that they don't create an inefficient realm that's half baked, that's evil, that's wicked, and then tell you that you have to love it and enforce it, or else they're going to burn you forever. That sounds ridiculous. Why does a God lead with punishment, intimidation, and fear? How can you Christians not see that? This being is leading you with fear, not love. Even in the Bible, it says, fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. In whose realm? This realm? So being scared is wisdom. Who's gained wisdom from being fearful? Right? Real powerful wisdom. All the innovations, all the technological advancements were people that were fearless. Even though I know a lot of, I'm not going to get to that. See, that's classified. I don't get that secret, But yeah, not every invention comes from a human. I'll just say that, But um, where do we find our strength for guys like us? Where? Where do we find our power? Where do we find our edge? Where do we find our way of being successful? Where and how? How come life is always extremely difficult for us, or extremely time consuming, or extremely just brutal? How can we find power? Do we need like some type of fascist army? I know a lot of people are imagining that. They think they're going to rule like the Third Reich, But if you put them in Stalingrad, then all of a sudden they don't want to play Third Reich no more. But yeah, that's called being a soldier. It's not just being an internet warrior, or attacking people because you're in a position of power and dominance and prominence. This is real warfare. You can't hide. You can't lie and do something to somebody and say you didn't do it and just where you're lying. That's a sign of a coward. You do something but refuse to take accountability. You know, but you done did it. You went out your way to do it. But now you're lying and hiding and trying to cover up your tracks. You are a coward. You throw a stone and hide your hands. That's not brave, and that's not a manly thing to do. That's a feminine thing to do. For guys like us, man, it seems like, power has to really be taken, whatever that means for you, you know, whether it's, you know, build your own business, whether it's find a way to create a good business that can benefit your whole family, or a business that benefits you, or whatever. Just find something that can give you power. Like, how do we get power from here? Will we always be powerless? Will we always be those who are rejected and ejected by society, never knowing what true power is, never knowing what true happiness is, but only knowing what failure and being at the bottom and going through all types of psychological issues? Is that why we were put on this earth? Just to suffer and go through extreme turmoil and extreme pain? You know? What is it about this world, yeah, that makes it so it's how it is, where it's like an invisible class system that you can't really see unless you get there. Neighborhoods don't have to say, we don't want these people in here no more. All they do is this: they just raise the prices up. And the people that they give free benefits to, they're the ones that are able to afford these places. What I mean by free benefits, we already know that after World War II, soldiers coming home were given free money, free land, basically free homes. But it wasn't every soldier. It was only soldiers from European descent. Meanwhile, soldiers of other descent just had to fight, against the soldiers who they just went into battle with. So you you can go to war for a country and come back home, and the home is more hostile than the battlefields in Germany. Isn't that something? Right? And people are so selfish. No one cares about what you're going through until they're going through it as well. People don't care what you're going through, at all, unless they maybe can relate. But even then, there's limitations to relation as well. Because somebody can relate to you, but then there's other things that they just can't relate to, right? Because of different types of structures. I don't know, man, but a lot of us really need power, is all I'm saying. Power over our lives. That doesn't mean work here, go to school here, work here, be a servant of somebody. True power. Why can't we just go to our own planet and build it up? Why can't we make our own money system? Why can't we have our own functioning government system that's separated from this system? Why is everything, has to be under somebody else's order? You know what that does to the mind? It trains the mind that you can't move, you can't jump, you can't walk without somebody else's approval and permission. And that's pernicious. It's pernicious. It's vicious. It's capricious. It's not good. You know, being able to do what you want at any time is the greatest feeling ever, man. You know, being trapped and being subservient to people who don't even care about you is horrible. And yet here we are living this life every single day in all types of ways. None of us wanted to be here. None of us asked to be in this position. We wanted to be successful. We wanted the girls. We wanted the wife. We wanted the children. We wanted the happiness, right? But now here we are. Here we find ourselves in this mass spiritual degradation, and it's absolutely brutal. But what can we do about it in this position? How do we gain power from our talents, from our attributes, from our skills? How do we gain power? No one knows, But there has to be a way, right? One can only hope and imagine.